So here across the street, this is the edge of the park, Kalamagdan Park and the zoo. And we're not going that way. Yeah, it's the zoo right there across the street. Oh, look at this dude's outfit. Mosaics. Yeah, it smells like a zoo. It's got that pungent animal poo smell. I miss having a cat. It's a lion. That's me, Leo. It's a really wide street. Trolley, electric. I didn't realize these mosaics go all the way around like this. That one's, some of these have been fixed. Yeah, this might not be the most interesting part of the city here, but is that a coconut? Huh. Reminds me of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So as I get down here, this is where things start getting weird, because this is where the river wraps around in this kind of like horseshoe manner, and things aren't, you know, the streets aren't straight. And for me, who's like, you know, trying to understand where I am still, not so much. After 2 years, I have a pretty good understanding, like from a bird's eye view, where I am in this city. The other person that that does a lot of video logging kind of stuff. Has a YouTube channel. I think she calls herself Blair of Belgrade or something. Oh, look at this. This tram is changing tracks or something. That's what this lady here with this tool, she just did something. Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, she's changing a track. Now she's gonna drive. That's pretty wild. So this is obviously the end of the line for these guys here on this track. That's interesting. So these buildings here that are in front of me, the dark one and the one right next to it, the dark one looks like office space, and the one next to it is living space. And when you look at that from the Calamagdan, it looks like it's close to the water. Wait for this light to change. Museum of Digital Technology Evolution. That's interesting. I certainly lived that. That is, what I'm all about. All my knowledge, I shouldn't say all, but what I'm well versed in is analog technology. And now here we are. I helped bring in the digital age. I mean, that was a big part of what I knew how to do, what I got interested in. And now, of course, people have surpassed me in many ways when it comes to individual software and knowledge about this or that. But I had my part. I definitely helped bring it all in. It's funny, I used to feel I was so much smarter. Especially when I was like, my early 20s. I really thought I was smart. And I was, I think I have forgotten more about technology than lots of people will ever know. But the older you get, and the more you learn, the more you realize you're not so smart. So the more data you take in, the more possibilities for things there are, and you're just like, I don't know if I can pick this up with this camera, but I think we have to go over and see this, if I can walk through here. So in Burbank, there's a very similar thing where they have an F-16 jet, and Burbank, California, where I grew up, its main industry from the in the late 1800s, it was all farmlands. It was like orange groves, lemon groves. And then with the evolution of technology, it became where the studios are. So Warner Brothers there, Disney is there. And And then also Lockheed, so that's where all the jets were made. The Skunk Works, the SR-71, that was all built right in my neighborhood. Well, there's a park there, and they did this exact thing where they have a jet. It's an F-16 though, and it's displayed in the same manner as this one here. Of course, so this is a Serbian military, which means it's either Russian or French. I know Serbia's gone with a lot of French jets, and the Russian fleet is being mothballed. So I'm going to assume that this is Russian, just because otherwise it wouldn't be on display like this. It'd still be in use. What is that? This must be some kind of aviation museum or something on the other side of this. Somebody wrote vegan over there. I'm in the middle of the street here. There's not much going on here. That's why I want to just go across the street here like this. Underground parking. It's nice to see. If somebody dropped me off right here, I wouldn't know where the heck I was. I could think I was in California. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now this is all rather new construction here. So much different from the old buildings, huh? The outside's so plain in comparison. I guess, I don't know, would you call this brutalist style still? It's like the 2000s brutalist style. Boot camp, indoor cycling, personal trainer, and see, all that's written in English too. Serbs are smart. That's, why I haven't learned to speak Serbian. But part of it is also, I've been enjoying being in my own world. I don't know how good that is in the long run. I mean, if I came here to be a part of what's going on in the world, I don't engage in it as much as maybe I could. I try not to be an influence any which way, except for positive, I guess. And you can say that, just living, if you live right, and you reflect a positive attitude, you reflect, goodness over badness. You believe that there is such a thing as good and bad. Then I guess you're doing your job. But that concept of good and bad is interesting, because what's good for you might be bad for somebody else. I know I brought this up before, but I think about on a basic level. So, a human compared to a non-human thing, a barnacle. A barnacle is like a mussel, a shellfish thing that likes to stick itself to the bottom of boats. And for the barnacle, it's loving life. Hey, I got this nice smooth area. I'm building up my town here. But for humans, it's like, hey, this stupid thing is impeding my vessel's movement. It's causing my boat to slow down. It's a blight. It looks terrible. So humans, being the higher species, we scrape that sucker off. With the barnacle, it's going, oh my god, you know, this is the end of the world. So for humans, it's good to scrape them off. And for the barnacle, it's a terrible thing. It makes you think when bad things happen here on this planet, is it good for something else that's higher in level than humans? So, universe export. This is the second one I've seen. It's a grocery store. I wonder if it needs a club card or something. Maybe it's like Costco. I don't know. So this is very empty here, first of all. This is like a business park. I bet you it's expensive to live here. I've never, you know, I don't look at rentals very often, but when I do, I've never noticed something so new. Or maybe because it's out of my league. I don't look at things that are so expensive. What I'm most curious about is what is the cheapest thing you can rent, and where is that? Is there a closet that you can get for $200 a month? And you know, there is. Which is definitely not the case in the USA. These kids over here playing basketball. Yeah, so this kind of place is, you know, similar to what you see in America everywhere. Newer construction, and what do they call it? 15-minute city, I think they call it, something like that. So across the street here, this is some kind of it's a wash. It's like a water catch basin. So to prevent flooding. It's like the LA River, I guess I would call it. So there's all those units across the street. That's probably built in the 70s. And there's that really weird structure there that's there's a couple, yeah, these are all weird shapes. Who knows what that is though? And then you see, like, you don't see much blight in Serbia. I shouldn't say in Serbia, but in Belgrade. But that's like a gypsy encampment. So, I don't know if you can see that or not, if it's too washed out, but there's a mural of a man with a slingshot, and he's got the slingshot on his head. So it's like he's gonna spring his mind into the future. Somebody left some flowers there. Must be an anniversary for his departure. So anyways, let's go back to a little bit of chatting about pre-birth planning. One of the reasons I like this topic, first of all, I could tell you that my mom was a expert astrologer, and she knew psychics, very famous ones, and she read and studied about life after death, and she helped AIDS patients cross over, and she was really into the life after death topic. So I suppose that's where I get it from. My sister is too, for that matter. Though she's not quite as vocal about it, I think. And, you know, she studies more. She's more astute than I am. But anyways, so I like this topic because there was a day, about 1.5 years after my mom passed away, that I literally, and I can't explain this. I say she whispered in my ear. I didn't hear her. It wasn't that. I honestly, I can't describe it. It's been too long already, too. But she had me go to my computer and go to YouTube, which at the time I didn't do so much, and click on a link. Just literally, you know, said, "This is the link. Watch this video. This is what's happening." And the video was about this concept of pre-birth planning, that we chose our life before we came here. And, you know, I have nothing to complain about. But, you know, honestly, I have friends that have much easier life.